Welcome to Maths and Science by IITIAN channel. We will be continuing with our regular class after two special lectures. Regular lecture for JEE and Maths Olympiad, including JEE Advanced and JEE Mains, the complex analysis. In the complex analysis or complex numbers, I have deliberated around 12 lectures and this is the 13th lecture. I felt this 13th lecture is of some good importance as it speaks about the mapping of the complex functions. We have taken up Z is equal to x plus iy. We have dealt in detail. Now, function z is equal to w. Z is in the xy plane, where function z w is in the uv plane, where w is equal to u plus iv. Z is equal to x plus iy and u is equal to function xy, which I have already discussed in my previous 12 lectures. You can refer to them for further details. In this, we are going to discuss about the transformation, because complex functions is also there in our syllabus and many questions involving z square, conjugate z square and involving function of z are given. Now we will try to understand actually what it means, what happens. Let us take a general case of w is equal to z to the power of n, what it means actually. Let us go into the depth of the lecture. What is given? W is equal to z to the power of n. Here, what is z? Z is a complex number x plus iy in the complex plane. I always prefer to have a diagram to represent mathematics. This is y and z is the number and this is zxy. This is in the xy plane. If n is equal to 1, w is equal to z, that is equal to x plus iy. This is suitable when n is equal to 1. If n is equal to 2, what happens? Very important, very interesting. N is equal to what happens? W is equal to z square. What is W? Both in Cartesian and polar coordinates. What is Z? Z is equal to x plus iy in Cartesian and Z is equal to r into e to the power of I theta in polar. Now, W is equal to z to the power of n means z to the power of n is equal to x plus iy to the power of n in Cartesian and z is equal to r to the power of n into e to the power of I theta n. This is in polar coordinates. That means for n is greater than or equal to 2. For n is greater than or equal to 2. The representation in polar form will be simpler, or rather we can say it will be convenient when compared with the Cartesian. Just see, n is equal to 2, it means z square, that is equal to x plus iy in Cartesian coordinates is equal to what it means, x square minus y square plus 2xy into I. This part is real, this part is imaginary. What x square minus y square represents? X square minus y square. Let us say some u, and 2xy is equal to some v, then z square is equal to u plus iv. This is the transformation. Then, if u is a constant, let us say, if u is a constant, just imagine, it implies x square minus y square is equal to some constant. What it represents from the geometry? It is a rectangular hyperbola. It is rectangular hyperbola. This can be a JEE main question, may be useful for JEE Advanced also. The question can be framed in this way, stating that if z is a complex number, then z square, for z square, the real component, if it is constant, it represents what? It represents a rectangular hyperbola. Now, for imaginary, please try to understand the geometrical meaning of everything. If v is equal to constant, because w is equal to u plus iv, this represents 2xy is equal to constant. That represents xy is equal to constant. That represents it's a rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola. That means in both the cases, when transformation from z to w takes place, transformation z to w takes place, then that transformation represents a rectangular hyperbola for w is equal to z square. I will draw the diagram, you will understand. This is x real, this is y, this is imaginary, Then what is Z? You may be thinking I am drawing again and again, again and again. No, it's not like that. You have to understand the geometry behind it. This is the locus of this point, it's a circle. Z is equal to something represents a circle with origin as the center, a circle with radius r. This is the meaning of Z. It's a locus of this point, locus of this. Now, when it is transformed into UV, it is a Z plane. And let me say x and y are constant. X square minus y square is constant, xy is equal to constant, not x and y. In that case, if we consider x square real number and imaginary number as constants, x square minus y square is equal to some constant. Components are constant. This is u, this is v, this is w plane for w is equal to z square. Then it represents a parabola. This is O. It represents a rectangular hyperbola, not parabola. Sorry. Rectangular hyperbola. Rectangular hyperbola. This much understanding is sufficient for you to answer the questions in IIT Advanced or IIT JEE Mains. I feel it is sufficient, but further studies if you make and you gain your knowledge, that's up to you. And the meaning of it is Z is equal to r into e to the power of I theta, or Z is equal to x plus iy denotes z to the power of n is equal to r to the power of n into e to the power of I theta n. And when W is equal to Z square, it's very important. Please listen to me. When W is equal to Z square, what is the value of dW by dZ? That is equal to 2Z. That implies W dash is equal to 0, yet Z is equal to 0. This is a very important discussion that is required to be made, and there is one name called conformal mapping. In case of mapping a Z plane into a UV plane or W plane. Conformal mapping. In conformal mapping, at every point dW by dz should not be equal to 0. But in this case, dW by dz is equal to 0 at z is equal to 0. Hence, for W is equal to z to the power of n, that means dW by dz is equal to n into z to the power of n minus 1. At z is equal to 0, dW by dz is equal to 0. It means W is equal to z to the power of n is conformal everywhere except at z is equal to 0. This is also one of the points we have to make a note of it. Now, conformal mappings are useful in Laplace equations solutions. Laplace equation is dou square phi by dou x square plus dou square phi by dou y square is equal to 0 or something of phi, function of phi. Usually we take for a rectangular domain Laplace equation dou square phi by dou x square plus dou square phi by dou y square is equal to 0. Usually, to solve the Laplace equations, conformal mappings are used, where dW by dz is not equal to 0. Wherever conformal mapping takes place, at that point dW by dz is not equal to 0. But in case of W is equal to z to the power of n mapping, in that except at z is equal to 0, all other places dW by dz is equal to 0. Hence, conformal mapping is conformed. Now, this much knowledge is sufficient. It's a small lecture only to give an idea about what is mapping between z and w, z plane and w plane. And another thing, you have to make a note, because z to the power of n is equal to r to the power of e to the power of I theta n, because e to the power of I theta n, what happens? This function is not 1 1. If any question comes to you that whether W is equal to z to the power of n is a 1 1 function, no, it's not a 1 1 function, that you should be able to know it, and you should know it so that it's a small question. If it is asked in the examination, we should be able to understand it. And in case of z square, you can write, and in case of what you call n, because argument transformation, how it is taking place? Argument transformation is taking place by n theta. You see, this is the argument, theta is the argument, I have already told you. Theta is transforming, what is z? Z is equal to z plane r into e to the power of I theta. This is transforming into n theta. Hence, it's not a 1-1 function. Not 1-1 function. You please make a note of it also. And in overall, you come across the questions in JEE Advanced. I have seen JEE Advanced. I may be giving examples from JEE Advanced 2023. I have seen that paper to be little bit competitive regarding this complex numbers, especially vectors, and also algebra. And I have in the last lecture I have given you about Leibniz rule, indefinite integrals, a little bit competitive question paper. You can solve it. A competitive question paper will give you a challenge. When you face the challenge and solve it, then you will gain the confidence to face anything. Now, in JEE 2023 Advanced paper, I think there is a question on Z, Z bar, Z, Z square. Please refer to that. Apply both. It is a homework to you. Please apply both Cartesian and polar coordinate systems to find the solution. Please check for the question. Please check for the question and try to solve using both. And you please check for the questions from previous to 2023 also. Whenever you get a question in the form function z is equal to z square plus z cube or modulus of z cube or something like this, it is a function z. Function z is nothing but w. W is equal to function z. Z is equal to x plus iy, or it can be r into e to the power of I theta. I told you either of them you can use. This is Cartesian. This is polar. You use both Cartesian system and polar system and try to get the solution. Whichever gives the fastest solution to you, you practice it more as per your convenience and try to solve the questions in the examination. The basic motivation for me or the basic requirement for this class is to expose you to the mappings of Z plane and W plane and to tell you about, to give the knowledge about Cartesian coordinates and also polar coordinates, and to make you confident to apply both the coordinate systems in the given questions in the last 10 years or 20 years of IIT Advanced or JEE Mains, and try to adopt a suitable system so that you can get the answer fast. No question is tough. It is only which method you apply in the question is more important. Apply both the systems, Cartesian and polar. Whichever gives you advantage, you apply that method and use it. Z to the power of n is equal to x plus iy to the power of n. This is one transformation, and z to the power of n is equal to r to the power of n into u to the power of I theta n. Both are equally competent. One system will be very good at one place, one system will be very good at one place. You should be able to differentiate in which question, as per the given question, which method is to be applied. You apply both polar, you practice both polar and Cartesian coordinates, and you try to get the solutions in complex numbers, complex algebra, complex mapping, etc. Best of luck to everybody. Thank you for listening to me. If there is a value addition to your knowledge, please share this knowledge to your friends and colleagues. Review my other lectures and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for spending this much time and listening to me. My channel is Maths and Science by IITN. Thank you.